Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining in today morning. We're going to read from the 9th chapter, verse number 27 onwards. Om Ajnanatamidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaho Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatadi Shatanine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Some of you can come here. You're sitting too far off. I don't have to move my head so much. I'll just come ahead. Take this thing. All right. Close the door. That's my room. 9th chapter, verse number 27. My room. Here from verse number 26 onwards, Lord Shri Krishna is, is helping us to make the right choice by speaking these 9 verses. Why the right choice? Because in verse number 25, Krishna said the various choices available to us. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrayanti pitrvataha bhutani yanti bhutechya yanti matya jinopima. One who worships Devta go to Devlok, one who worships Pitras go to Pitralok, one who worships Bhutas, they become Bhutas, and who worships Krishna, they go back home, back to Godhead. And then Lord Shri Krishna helps us by making a choice by discussing from verse number 26 onwards. And we had read this translation proper yesterday, so we'll start today from 27. So 26, we discussed Bhakti is simple. Anyone can perform. Now, text number 27. How Bhakti can be performed? Another example is given here, another way is given. How we can always remember Krishna. So, this is the verse which defines Karma Yoga. What Karma Yoga is. Yad karosi, yad asnasi, yad chuhosi, dadasi, yad tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushvamad arpanam. So, engage all in devotional service. And we have already discussed in the 3rd chapter and the 5th chapter what is the purpose of work. The work should be performed as a means of purification. Particularly in the 5th chapter, the first 9 verses, how do we perform Karma Yoga? So there we have discussed work should be seen as a means of purification. So translation, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, or whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Tat kurushva mad arpanam. Yet, all the Mayavadis, all speculators, they read Bhagavad Gita. I don't know how they can miss the word mad arpanam. Anyone has confusion about mad arpanam? Mad means me. Arpanam, offer it to me. What is the complication? So, let me ask this question before we begin. Why people still fail to understand? The scholars fail to understand. The speculators fail to understand. Gyanis fail to understand this simple thing. These are the most easiest verses of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone understand simple Sanskrit? Look at the previous verse. Patram pushpam phalam tvayam. Patram means leaves, pushpam is water, phalam means fruits. Toya means water. Yeah, what as I say wrong. No. Patra means pushpa means flowers, phala means fruits, and toya means water. Yome bhakti prachati. Give me with devotion. Dadaham bhakti upratam. And if you give it devotion, I'll accept it. Upahar, when you give a gift, if you give it grudgingly, nobody would like to accept it. But if you give it with affection, Krishna says, Ashnami pratatmana, I will accept it. So why people fail to understand? They give so ridiculous commentaries to this. One would answer quickly. What is the answer? Hare Krishna, our online folks. So God knows only you are hearing or not hearing. Everyone is switched off for the camera. We discussed so elaborately on the subject matter. So why not our folks sit with the cameras on so we get to know what you're really understanding here. So what's the answer? Why people can't understand?
Because they don't have love for Krishna.
They don't have love for Krishna. Do we have love for Krishna?
Some.
Envious of Krishna.
Who is speaking?
Krishna Chandra.
Krishna Chandra, not audible. Go ahead, loudly.
They're envious of Krishna.
Yeah, envy. I mean, come on. Yesterday I spoke whole session on this only. We just discussed one verse. How can you miss it out? They are envy. They're envious of Krishna. And they're not able to understand basic, simple Sanskrit. This is the point over here. All right. Purports. Thus, it is a duty of everyone. Everyone has his body and soul. Everyone has to keep up the force. Which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices a day, rounds the speech, he should be the greatest be substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So these 9 verses standard, and these are set with the confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because right at the beginning of this chapter, Krishna said, Anasurive, because of that. Shiva Shiva Farevam Shasi Karma Bandhane Sannyasa Yoga Yuktama Bhaktama Veshasi. So is of action performed as the previous. What happens when Karma Yoga 28. In this way, you will be an auspicious and inauspicious results. Shubha, Ashubha, free. Karma bandhana. You'll be free from karma bandhana. And what is the greatest karma bandhana? Our attachment to the results. What is the greatest karma bandhana? Our attachment to results. When we get results as we expect, we become proud. And we don't get the results what we expect, we become suicidal. Two opposite ends. This is the biggest. With your mind, sannyas yoga yukta atma, with your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation. What Hare Krishna. Somehow I got disconnected. All right. अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यतारमुपयुञ्जतः वृन्दकृष्णसम्बन्धे युक्तवैराग्यमुच्यते. The Bhagavad Swami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. One cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed with fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called yukta vairagya. Actually, situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind. And as actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of God, and therefore at the end he becomes liberated And this liberation is also specified. By this liberation, he does not become one. He does not become one with Brahmajyoti, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here. Mam Upeshasi, he comes to me, back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation, and it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting his body, go back home, back to Godhead, and engage acting in the association of Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually a sannyasi. Very important point. Who is a sannyasi? Not one who is only wearing a saffron robe holding a danda. Who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is called sannyasi or sannyasini. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as service of the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive actions or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a devotee is completely engaged in the service of the Lord, may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties. Actually, it is not so. It is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact words are Tanra Vakya Kriya Mudra Jina Vignehe Na Bujoy. A person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated at present. And the future is going back home, back to God, is guaranteed. He's above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. So, text number 28 is what we read. In this way, you'll be freed from bondage to work, auspicious and inauspicious also. So, we are here in this. We are into this predicament or in this situation, or less in this world, because of envy towards Krishna, and that envy is restricting our understanding of Bhagavad Gita. So now, how can you get rid of envy? Our envy foremost is towards Krishna. So all of us, okay, let's draw this little thing. Do you all agree that we all, if not today, let's say sometime ago, until some time ago, were envious of Krishna? Raise your hands. Raise your hands, you're understanding? I mean, those who are not understanding, they're not at the moment of self-awareness, a lack of knowledge, fine? Okay, so my question is, we all had been envious of Krishna, and now only Krishna knows what is our level of envy right now. So how do we get rid of this envy towards Krishna? These 2-3 things we need to understand it. I know while you're discussing with new people, you can so much easily help them understand. Any quick thought? How can we get rid of envy towards Krishna? See, first of all, we are in this world. We came in this world because we became envious of Krishna. So who is the person towards whom we developed the envy first and the foremost? Was Krishna. All of us are that. How do we get rid of envy towards Krishna now? How do we get rid of envy towards Krishna? Yes, Ravi Bhatta Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. By glorifying him as much as possible and cultivating.
How can you glorify him when you're envious of him? Correct. But how can you really glorify if you are envious of him? Mother Medhavni.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
By following the instructions of the spiritual master.
By following the instructions of spiritual master. Okay. Okay. Let's hear. Mother Priyanka. Not audible at all. Nothing can't be here. Okay, Mother Yagya, till the time you fix your sound system.
By serving him, Prabhuji.
By serving him. But how would you serve him when you are already envious of him? Correct. This is correct. I'm not saying it's entirely wrong. But how would you serve him? Mother Yagya.
By serving his devotee.
By serving his devotee. Okay, pretty good. Yes, Mother Yagya.
Dandvat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, through the association of devotees gaining the right knowledge about Lord Krishna.
Okay, very nice. Sangeeta, Mother Sangeeta.
Prabhuji, we can serve him only by eating Krishna prasadam, and we can talk only about Krishna. And
But why would you eat only Krishna prasadam, talk about only Krishna when we have envy for him? Okay,
And only by speaking Krishna Katha.
Only by speaking. Kamsa was also doing Krishna Katha.
Prabhuji, dedicating our work to him.
Yeah, but why would you do so when we are envious of him? We all have come from that background. Now you may not have that envy, but how did that envy reduced? I would not say that our envy is entirely gone today. That's what we discussed in the 9th chapter, the 3 kinds of bhaktas also. Who all are envious of Krishna to different degrees. Okay, Krishna answer the question. Yes, Krishna. Let's take your final input. By association with devotees hearing, right? Correct. All right, that is all good. But your envy cannot go away unless you have surrendered to a living guru. Please understand that. Unless you have surrendered to a living guru, your envy cannot go away. This itself abolishes Ritvikism.
Yeah.
Those who say we can take shelter of Prabhupada, we can take shelter of Rupa Goswami, they can never be free of envy. Why? Now tell me, where does the envy comes? The envy, as I said, the nature of envy is it gets manifested the most where you get familiarity. Where you get familiarity. Because of our familiarity with Krishna, we ended up in this world. So where you become familiar. Now the moment you have kept Prabhupada on altar, what familiarity you will have? His physical form is not there. So you will not get cured of your envy. Therefore Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. That verse has a lot of implications. And this is one thing, only if we have a living guru with whom, under whose guidance we serve. Now tell me, all of us love to be pampered. All of us love to be glorified. But when we make a mistake, we accept or not accept, but when we get chastised, how much now you can continue to glorify your teacher? And we will come forward? Yes or no? And that is how under the direction, under the tutelage of a living guru, then envy gets fixed. Because the moment you are criticized, or not criticized, the moment you have the fault, there is a fault found in you, or the moment you are chastised for your mistake, our ego will become strong. Arey, aise kyun bola? Arey, what do you think? You're better than I? This is all because of envious response. Until and unless we understand that we need to surrender, we need to be humble, we need to follow, not to counteract, not to argue about it. How can we? Is that making sense? We cannot get rid of envy unless we have a relationship under which we are taking, we are growing, where we've been corrected. If I'll make this point and I'll move forward. Frankly speaking, if you are in a relationship with a teacher or mentor or Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, bear with it might sound a little heavy, but if you have not received corrections, the surgery has not begun. The operation has not started. If your back has only been patted, you're so good, you're so wonderful. Karte raho. The operation has not started. Envy is not so easy to go away. Therefore, just to conclude this point and to make a clarity on the subject, what is the last snare of Maya? What does Srila Prabhupada says? What is the last snare of Maya? The last snare of Maya is I am God. And who does it? This is for devotees only. The practice sadhaka. They are the one, for them, this is the last snare. For Mayavad is not the last snare. वो तो शुरुआती यहीं से करते हैं. For whom it is the last snare? It is for the bhaktas. So it's not like that. What is the name of our Madhavendra Puri's disciple? What's his name? Ramachandra Puri, right? No, not Ramachandra Puri. It's a great devotee of the Lord. But you remember, you understand that. Now he ended up criticizing his own spiritual master. And when spiritual master chastised him, asked him to get away, then he took his mission statement to go and find faults in the Vaishnavas. So envy is the most difficult thing to get rid of it. That's the point I just wanted to make here, just for all of us to reflect on it. And from this perspective, if you see, then you will see what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita in a different light. And those particular instructions become more applicable. And that will help us actually to protect our relationship with our teachers, with our mentors, and you will understand, actually they're doing a thankless task. Just like Yamaraj has a thankless task to punish Similarly, the mentors have not had a thankless chance to correct us. Devotees by nature are very soft. They are least interested in finding faults with others. The least interested in correcting others. A genuine devotee. The least interested. Why? When I'm already suffering with my so much anarthas, I'm already so much troubled. Why should I bother about others? But if such a genuine devotee is taking out time to tell you, Prabhu, you've got some issues to sort it out. And to that person, then you say, he's envious or she's envious of me. How dare she find correction? How dare she find fault with me? Then what else can be done? Or what if when you're serving Krishna and you make a mistake and your senior comes and tells you, Vrindavan, you've done a mistake. What are you doing? You say, hey, kaun aata tu bolne wala? Where do you end up? Where do you end up? So that's not going to happen. So that's I just want to make. So surrender. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya upadekshante gnanam jnanata. So surrender. Therefore, in that point of time, 434, I said the greatest sacrifice, because that whole section of sacrifice, the greatest sacrifice is of sacrificing one's false ego, and that is sacrifice when you take shelter. And in that shelter, if you accept only pampering, if you only accept glorification, Guru means heavy. Guru is actually never supposed to glorify disciple. Guru is only supposed to chastise. This is Vedic injunction. Guru is never supposed to glorify. The moment Guru glorifies a disciple, he is actually pampering his false ego. He is not doing a service to him, he is doing disservice. There is a glory, the encouragement is a different thing. We need time and again encouragement is a different thing. But glorification or only patting the back is not the Guru's work actually, it's not the teacher's work. We have to have a clarity. You decide for yourself. Do you want to accept a teacher or you want to accept a, let's say a paid service, who pats on your back and says, you are such a wonderful person. You choose for yourself. We all need to decide this for ourselves. Okay, so we discussed 28. Let's go to 29. Now, very interesting verse. So, those who do puja, they get some material benefit. But those who do bhakti, give pleasure to the Lord. These are some very fantastic verses. We'll discuss in length in our weekend Bhagavad Gita program. But let's look at a little synopsis of it here. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshu stina priya ye bhajanti tuma bhaktya maite teshu chapiham. So Arjuna pondered, my dear Lord, so what? Are you little, those who serve you, they get liberation. So are you partial? This is one of the understanding here. And Krishna says, no, I'm equal to all. Samoham sarvabhuteshu, equal. Name dvesh astinapriya. What does Krishna say? I do not envy anyone. Astinapriya, and no one is dear to me. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya. But what to do? If somebody serves me with love and affection, maite teshu chapiham, I also become attracted to him. As such, I am neutral to all. One who worships me, one who serves me with love and affection, it is but natural that you would reciprocate towards that person, isn't it? I envy no one, nor am I partial when I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me, devotion as a friend is in me, and I am also a friend to him. But one may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone and no one is his special friend, then why does he take special interest in the devotee who are always engaged in transcendental service? This is not discrimination, it is natural, Prabhupada writes. Any man in this material world may be very charitably disposed, yet he has a special interest in his own children. The Lord claims that every living entity in whatever form is a son, and so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He's just like a cloud which pours rains all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock, land, water. But for his devotees, he gives us special attention. He provides them borewell water, a private pipe, like that. So he gives special attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. Now please highlight this point. Krishna gives special attention to devotees. I'll speak about it on weekend, but you can, in the meantime, if you wish, you can contemplate on what does it mean by Krishna giving special attention. And Krishna gives special attention. Krishna's name is Hari. To whom he gives special attention, he takes everything from that person. See, we have to study full properly, na? You can't just break things here and there and you understand things on your own context. I want God to behave with me, I want Krishna to behave with me like this, and then only Krishna exists. It's not like that. Therefore, we have to do a little study to see what Prabhupada, where was the point? Right now, mark it. He gives specific attention. Such devotees are mentioned here. They're always in Krishna consciousness, therefore they're always transcendently situated in Krishna. The very phrase Krishna consciousness suggests that those who are in such consciousness are living transcendentalists, situated in Him. The Lord says here distinctly, Maite, they are in me. Naturally, as a result, the Lord is also in them. This is reciprocal. This also explains the word Ye Yadhama Prabhadanditam Sateva Jamyam. Whoever surrenders unto me, proportionally I take care of him. This transcendental reciprocation exists because both the Lord and the devotees are conscious. When a diamond is set in a golden ring, it looks very nice. The gold is glorified, and the same time the diamond is glorified. The Lord's living entities eternally glitter. And when a living entity becomes inclined to service the Supreme Lord, he looks like gold. The Lord is diamond, and so this combination is very nice. Living entities in a pure state are called devotees. The Supreme Lord becomes a devotee of his devotees. If a reciprocation relationship is not present between the devotee and the Lord, then there is no personalist philosophy. Fantastic statement. So those who want to destroy this personal relationship with the Lord are of impersonal nature. And that's the reason they say Lord is Brahman. Lord is formless. Again, as we have discussed about it, it's all out of envy. Personal relationship with God. There are affection, sometimes there's chastisement. Mother Yashoda would chastise Krishna, Mother Yashoda would love Krishna. So what Mayavadis or envious people want? They don't want anything. They don't want this love, affection, and why? Chastisement, hame kuch bolne ka nahi. We are what we are, like that. In the impersonal philosophy, there is no reciprocation between the Supreme and the living entity, but in the personal philosophy, there is. So, to the degree we are reluctant to receive feedback, to the degree we are reluctant to accept corrections, to the degree we become agitated or disturbed when, at least if not everyone, if at least our well-wishers, whom you may call your mentors, Shiksha Guru, etc., if they give us correction feedback and we lose our tolerance and patience, then you know where we are situated. We are Bhaktas or Mayavadis, where we are. Are we personalists or impersonalists? If in case the thought comes, enough is enough, I'm quitting this relationship. Are you personalist, impersonalist? Think about it. The devotee can never quit. There is no question of the devotee quitting. No, that doesn't exist in his dictionary. The example is often given that the Lord is like a desired tree, and whatever one wants from the desired tree, the Lord supplies. But here the explanation is more complete. The Lord is here stated to be partial devotees. This is the manifestation of Lord's special mercy to devotees. The Lord's reciprocation should not be considered to be under the law of karma. It belongs to the transcendental situation which the Lord and devotees function. Devotional service to the Lord is not an activity of this material world, it is part of the spiritual world, where eternity, bliss, and knowledge predominates. Text number 30, the special verse. So, what is the length of, now Krishna says, Arjuna asks, my dear Lord, are you partial? Because it seems like you give liberation to your devotees. Those who serve you, means devotees. Krishna says, no, I'm equal to all. But what to do? Those who serve me with love and affection, and naturally become inclined to them. And what is the degree of Krishna's compassion? Krishna says, even if, let's read. Apichesu duracharo bhajate mamanamniva sadhureva samantavya samyak vaivasito hisa. Even if Arjuna, such a person, has got bewildered because of his past conditionings, this is accidental fall down. This is not something planned fall down, which is Krishna speaking here. It's a verse worth studying the commentaries of Acharyas, actually, what they explain in this regard, and Prabhupada also makes a point. We'll get into it in a second. So, apichet, even if durachar, apichet, durachar means bad action. But does Krishna say durachar? What does Krishna say? Apichet, what Krishna says? मैं मुंह ऐसे लाते बोला ना क्या है? What even? Suduracha. तुमने वो तो ऐसे ला दिया तो शब्द को तो ध्यान दो. Try focusing on the Sanskrit. Apiche suduracha. Krishna didn't say duracha. Suduracha means the most abominable action. The most abominable action. Apichet. But if bhajate mam ananyamak. But if he still continues to render devotional service unto me, Ananyabha, causeless. Not with an intention to get freed from the reaction of the sin he has done. Okay? Ananyabha is causeless. Not with the motivation that I should get rid of my sinful reaction or for the sin. Causeless, because he has affection for Krishna. Sadhureva samantavya. Samyog vayavasito sa. Usko sadhu समझना चाहिए. क्यों साधु समझना चाहिए? Samyog vayavasito hi sa. Vayavasitaha. Because he is still fixed in his determination to serve me. So question arises, if somebody is fixed in determination to serve Krishna, then is it really possible for him to do Sudurachar? Is it really possible to do Sudurachar? Yes or no? Well, let's ask this question. Let's see how much we have had experience of this one. So, what do you think? If somebody is fixed in determination to serve Krishna, can he ever perform Sudurachar? How many will say yes? Raise your hands. How many will say no? Put a thumbs down. Okay, thumbs down for no. But Krishna is saying what Krishna is lying there. Or Krishna is exaggerating.
Accidental.
What do you mean accidental? Accidental, but kara to usne hai na. I mean, my question is not accidental, incidental, consequential. I'm asking a simple thing. Can somebody, Samayoga Vayavasito Hisa, who is fixed in bhakti, I'm not talking Nishtha and Ruchi. Fixed means Sola Mala Nam Jap, Cha Niyama ka Palan, daily Krishna Prasad. That is also fixity, right? We are all practicing devotees. So somebody is fixed in devotion, can he ever become Sudurachari? Now, yes or no? How many say yes? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Very much. Now, we may not be Sudurachari, but to some extent we could be Durachari also. Maybe not eating Krishna Prasad. I'm just giving something. I'm not saying a big thing. What I'm just saying, but Durachari is some smaller mistake. Sudurachari, it's all possible. Now, why it is possible? Why it is possible that you may become, you may commit a abominable activity? Yes, Mother Yagya.
Prabhuji, it could be the effect of the environment, time, place, and circumstance.
What is that?
The effect of the environment, time, place, and circumstance.
Okay, go more deeper. Correct, that always happens. Why?
Lack of association, Prabhu.
Lack of association, all right.
And I think most important is chanting quality.
Quality chanting, fine. What else? Priya samskars, what else?
Past
Till the
conditions.
time, okay.
Found in the three modes of material nature.
Yes. Till the time we are dictated by the modes of material nature, we have all the potential to become Sudurachari. We have all the potential to become. So therefore, in Rishabdev's section, when you read in the 5th canto, the two verses comes from on the mind. And it is said, the mind is like a prostitute. One who is a yogi or a sage never puts faith on one's mind. Because mind is like a prostitute, which means is bound to cheat you. And the prostitute is actually described as a wife. The wife who is a prostitute, despite being married, duly married, is having a extramarital affair, such a lady can never be trusted because she anytime with her lover can kill the husband. This is the worst actually. Similarly, the mind cannot be trusted. So point is, and what Krishna Chandra Prabhu was saying, was talking about if we chant quality rounds and all that, we can be protected. If you put it other way around in that sense. So Sudacharo, this is something we all can become victim to it. The allurements of Maya, time, place, and what all you all mentioned is correct. But one point is, because we are all under the modes of material nature, past samskaras absolutely, not purified absolutely. So till the time we are in the modes of material nature, there's all the potential. And look, this shows the compassion and greatness of Krishna. This shows his broad-mindedness. He knows that the devotee would endeavor his best. Yet, in this world, there is all the potential for one to become victim. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Who says? Who says? Brahmaji. This is said by Brahmaji. Samashita ye padapallava palam. I believe this is the last line of the shloka. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. This material world is danger, and you take a name of anyone for that reason. Everyone has become victim at some point of time. So, again, I'm going little details here. Okay, I'll pause at this point because I don't want to just really do this by just reading out. Okay, I'll conclude with this. Therefore, I guess in one of the recent class I was making a point, right? I said the bhaktas, the follower is supposed to follow in the footsteps of his role model, right? Similarly, the bhaktas are supposed to follow in the footsteps of Krishna. Now, what it means by following the footsteps of Krishna, in terms of how we should live in this world, how we should deal with the material energy, not that how we should interact with Krishna's internal energy, not that we start performing rascally. That is relationship between Krishna and his internal energy. That is entirely different. How we should live in this world, how we should deal with the material energy is what we should learn from Krishna. And that is what Krishna is saying. What is that? Yadyat acharati shreshtas tattadeva taro janaha. That is not a verse which is followed in a spiritual world. This is for material world. That verse is for material world. And Krishna says, I come, then I follow all the rules and regulations. So I set an example. So we need to follow Krishna's example. And this is how maybe next time when you do a reading of Bhagavad Gita, pay attention to what Krishna says in his dealings with Arjuna or what clues he gives. And that is something you want to draw, make a note for yourself. This is what something I need to imbibe in my own life. So here Krishna is saying, if Krishna is saying, I am willing to forgive. I am willing to forgive if somebody is fixed in his devotional practice. Then how much tolerant we should be towards others' mistakes. How much tolerant we should be towards other mistakes. Whose footsteps are we following? If we are true to Krishna, if we are follower of Krishna, if Krishna is our role model, Krishna Prema Bhakti is our goal, so aren't we supposed to follow in his footsteps? So somebody claims, I am a devotee of Krishna, but is not willing to forgive. Or becomes, these days on social media, I'm speaking this because there is something going on in the background of my mind, because of which I've had two or three night or straight, where there's something going around in a larger ISKCON forum. So I got dragged into some of those things. So I had to read a lot for that. Those who just keep finding faults because something happened, and those who are not willing to accept the fact that that person can be forgiven ever. Are you really worshipping Krishna? Who's your role model? And the person have had a track record or is willing to undergo, there could be a punishment, no doubt about it. Reaction would happen. But Krishna says, sadhu reva samantavya should be considered. If somebody is affected party and somebody has done, of course, there are different levels of activity, and for that, incident, for that, there should be a punishment, no doubt about it. But after that, still to consider him to be Duratma. This is nothing, this is about to say, people's minds are so much affected by it. Like last evening, I spent so much time a little bit studying about what's going on in the Western theology now. What's the Western mindset? I was doing some research. And that is what is greatly affecting the mindset of people here within the devotee community. Okay, I don't want to create controversy, but I'll just make one or two points. This whole idea of man, woman, equality and all that, there was never a question of inequality in Vedic scripture or Vedic culture. There was never a question of inequality. Woman is born as a woman is a woman. Man born as a man is a man. Where is a question of inequality? If you are a carpenter and if you are an engineer, where is a question of inequality? There is an equality. There is an inherent equality. Carpenter has got his profession. IT engineer has got his profession. There is an inherent equality based on the psychophysical nature. But there is an artificial inequality. And what is an artificial equality? Their profession is not same. Their actions are not same. People cannot perform same action. So why does woman has to give birth to a child? Why can't man give birth to a child? This is ridiculous. This is what is going on now. Why are you making people same on the actions? Now, if you have an Android operating system and if you have an iPhone operating system, are they going to act differently? They're going to act differently. But to say, no, everything should be same, everything should be same, like that, the mindset has got so affected and all that. And along with this comes additional thing, because it's all Western theology, Western concepts, of equality and all that. Then comes the concept of dealing with the kids, how the kids have to be dealt with. You know, Mother Yashoda, these rascals will call Mother Yashoda a child abuser. Yes or no? Mother Yashoda captured Krishna, tied him in the pole. According to the laws, Western laws now, she will be put behind the prison bar. So what to do in this regard? And because we're too much caught up with the news, too much caught up with the, not reading Prabhupada books, but reading and hearing everyone else on the street, and then we come in the devotee circle and devotee forum, and then we make comments, pass comments. And the one easy person to receive a comment, that is called leader. Therefore, one quality for a leader is he has to be highly resilient. Highly resilient. Because one thing that he's going to receive the most in his life is comments, criticism. And if he's not resilient, he'll break, he'll wither away like that. So this is a verse which has been discussed, talked at length for ages together about Krishna's compassion. But question comes, where is devotee's compassion? Are devotees not supposed to follow Krishna's footsteps? Again, I'm not an advocate, or I'm not advocating that punishment or remedial measures should not be taken. Remedial measures should be taken, but to tag that person to be fallen and duratma forever, Krishna is not doing that. And look what Arjuna said, my dear Lord, I will not accept this. How can you say somebody is durachara and yet he is a devotee? Take a look at what text number 31 Krishna says. Text number 31, Krishna says, Arjuna, no. Shipram bhavati dharvatma shashvashantam nigacchati Vantaya pratijani namivanta pranashati. Shipram, turant, bhavati becomes dharmatma. Very soon he becomes dharmatma. Shashvashantam nigacchati, and he attains the lasting peace. And then Krishna says, this is what Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, all this. Krishna says, so Arjuna, I want you to make a declaration. Arjuna said, what declaration? Tell them that my devotee never perishes. Arjuna said, why should I tell? They are your devotee, you say. Krishna said, no, you say. Arjuna said, why? Why should I say? Krishna said, because I would never let devotee promise ever fail. But if I make a promise, there are chances of me not being able to fulfill that promise. Arjuna said, are you serious? Krishna said, beta, युद्ध होना शुरू होने दे, फिर पता चलेगा तेरे को रियलिटी क्या मेरे प्रॉमिस की. तेरे को युद्ध के एंड तक रियलाइजेशन हो जाएगी मेरा प्रॉमिस क्या है. So इसलिए you declare. Arjuna said, okay, युद्ध के बारे में बात करिए तो okay, I'll follow you. So like that, Arjuna declares calm. This is Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writing this kind of conversation like that. All right. So we'll see the verses 30-31 tomorrow, and we'll conclude hopefully 9th chapter tomorrow in tomorrow's reading. With that, we pause here for today. We completed up to 29th. We briefly discussed 31st, and we'll read Prabhupada purports tomorrow. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Bhagavad Gita ki, Jai. Hare Krishna. So हमारे भक्त बंधु कौन हैं जो भी बने हुए हैं? Because I'm going to travel now in February and March for a good amount of times, like 10-15 days. So for me to cancel my morning program, come for this whole thing, I need to see how many people. Can you all switch on your camera so I know who all are regularly coming here? Because I'm going to have a very tight schedule during travels. So if I know there are some serious people coming, then I'll take out my morning time. Because I have to compromise. When I sleep so late.